Hi there, you're watching The Appreciationist. My name is Peter Hartman, and tonight we're talking about creative reactions and better choices. It's going to be a pretty short show tonight. Our co-host couldn't make it, but I'm going to have fun talking to you anyway. And take the advantage of playing some more guitar. It's always fun to get some guitar playing in. Got to practice, got to get better. Anyway, looking forward to talking about our conversation topic tonight, creative reactions and better choices. But before we get to that, I'm going to start with our first segment of the show called What I Learned This Week. What I learned this week? Well, it's been a pretty busy week, a lot of things to learn. I actually marked down a few things, and since it's just me, I think I'll tell you all. What should I start? Where should I start? Okay, so I learned about layering when it came to Bob Ross. In the last episode, I think it was, talked about Bob Ross, who's this painter. He had a series back in the day, and now he's on Netflix, or his recordings are on Netflix, and he paints. And there's something I've been noticing as he's been painting. I'm the type of person who loves to learn from different sources. So if I want to learn about the law of attraction or how to be inspired or something like that, I'm not going to read a book about the law of attraction, how to be inspired. I'm going to look at entrepreneurs. I'm going to listen to teachers. I'm going to listen to athletes, because I like to learn my subject in mediums instead of learning it from a book or from a specific source. So I was watching Bob Ross, and I'm listening to it for the ASMR, for the soothing effect that I have when I listen to him. But every once in a while he'll say something, and I think it applies to other things. He talked about layering, how it's important to have layering inside an image, that the clouds behind, that you don't want just clouds on a page, clouds on the canvas. What you want are clouds in the background, clouds in the foreground, so on and so forth. Layering creates this dimensionality, this depth that is far more interesting to look at. And our eyes and our brains actually look for this depth in order to make something feel more real, more substantial, more connected to reality. So I've learned this week that I have to layer my teachings. I have to layer what I'm talking about so that people understand the context in which a higher dimensional concept exists relative to a lower dimensional concept. And I think if I include layering in what I'm talking about, that people are going to find it far more interesting and far more engaging. So I'm going to add dimensionality to our conversations. I also like to tell people, don't worry about when I say the word dimension. I'm not referring to anything too crazy. We live in 3 dimensions of space, right? So you understand dimensions on that level. There's a dimension of time. There are, if you can talk about human beings on the level of primitive bioorganisms, you can talk about them in terms of abstract thinkers, you can talk about them in terms of love or friendship or war or death. And so those are all different dimensions of the human experience. And the more we think of our reality in dimensional terms, the clearer it will get, and we'll get to that later on in the show. I also learned by watching, you'll notice I learn a lot of things by just watching things, because I like to pay attention to what I'm watching and watch it with an open mind, so you can learn from anything. I was watching Marco Polo, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say that there was a line that was told to the chief. He was told that the people need to, that they weren't connected to his vision of the future, because the average person couldn't really understand this vision, that they had to feel it, they had to see it, they had to taste it and touch it. And so you have to give them, as a leader, you have to give them a little piece of the future for them to feel and to hold, for them to understand what he was leading them to. And so that's something else that I learned this week. I have to give people something to chew on, where they can feel, not only feeling their progress forward, but feeling where we're heading to, because I believe that we're heading to incredible things in the future. And part of what I want to do is to prepare people for it. We need that entrepreneurial spirit. You need that that spirit that says, I'm going to go out, I'm going to figure it out myself. Because with the internet, with technology growing the way it is, the future is not going to remain the same. We see that in manufacturing. We see that in there are touchscreen devices that are replacing workers at McDonald's. There are robotic warehouse robots that can do warehouse work better than a human being can. And so human beings are going to be ever and ever pushed closer out of the automation world and into creative thinking. And those of us who are practiced with creative thought in all realms of human experience, we're going to succeed. And those people who are not, well, they're going to have a difficult time. So I want to encourage people to be more creative, and we're going to be talking about that later on in the show. And the last thing I learned this week, I know I'm saying a lot, but heck, I'm the only one here. Why can't I? I'm the host of the show. I get some perks. Executive decisions. Well, I was watching Game of Thrones, and in the Game of Thrones there's a character called Littlefinger, and Littlefinger is talking to a friend, and he says, he sees a picture in his mind of what he'd like, of a future he'd like, and he considers every action that he takes relative to this picture, and he asks himself, if I follow through with this action, will it make this picture in my mind more likely? And if the answer is yes, then he takes action to bring it about in real life. And if the answer is no, then he doesn't do it. And that's not the law of attraction, then I don't know what is, right? Holding a vision of what you like in your mind, evaluating your actions accordingly, and then taking action in the direction of your desire. So it was fun to be reminded. This is not so much what I learned, but it's what it was fun to be reminded that you want to picture something in your mind, and you want to evaluate every action that you do. And what I learned, I suppose, is that I could use that story in order to communicate that idea. So I was really happy this week, learned a lot of cool things. My moment of appreciation this week. So we do a segment called the Moment of Appreciation. That's where we look back at the past 7 days and we pick out something that we appreciate. It could be something good that happened that's easy to appreciate, or it could be something that wasn't so great, but that we can see the value in today. So look, my moment of appreciation, I have two, very simple. The first one, had a really fun time at a barbecue out in Angrion Park here in Montreal. One of our friends, Cynthia, was her birthday, and we all went to hang out with her. It was cool to see Val and Samantha, who were there, two of our co-hosts on the show, and some other folks, including her dad. It was really nice to meet everybody, eat some good food. So that was a lot of fun. Didn't fly kites, but we did play frisbee, and that was really, really a lot of fun. I think I really like playing frisbee, and it reminds me of when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was so terrified of playing frisbee. I could never catch a ball. I could never catch a frisbee. I remember my mom taking my brother and out to the park, and she'd throw a frisbee at us, and we'd just be crying and crying tears, and she just insists, "You got to be able to do this. You got to be able to do this." So I'm really glad that she pushed us to do it, because now I really love throwing frisbee. It's harder than throwing a ball, and I like things that are a little challenging in those ways. Samantha and Barley's just messaging me now, one of our co-hosts on the show. She's letting me know that she had a lovely discussion about living life to the fullest. They had it outdoors on the mountain on Mount Royal. If you missed that, please keep an eye on the calendar, on her calendar, because she does these things. They're a lot of fun. Great turnout, and she had a really fun meeting on the mountain last night. She wanted me to tell you that. If you want to find out more about Samantha Barley, you can check out samanthabarley.com or check out our meetup group, Self-Discovery Montreal. You can look that up on Meetup. And we're missing our friend Val today. I had fun hanging out with her. I'm sure she'd share that moment of appreciation. You can find out more about her at thepowerofemotions.ca. That's thepowerofemotions.ca. Both of them are life coaches. Both of them are excellent. You definitely want to check them out. Look, my next moment of appreciation was very simple. Was fixing the pool. That's why I'm scratching. I got like mosquito bites and everything. Had to fix the pool. Had to pump it out. Rented this pump thing. Had to take out sludge and everything. I love fixing things. I just love fixing things. It took me a while to do it today, but it was really a lot of fun. It's like a puzzle you got to figure out, and then this puzzle, instead of just being a picture that you're seeing, it's actually something fruitful, productive, something that you get to see in the real world. So that was actually a lot of fun. I was outdoors pretty much by myself, and just playing around in the dirty pool trying to fix it. So really, really fun. So that's those are my moment of appreciation. Actually, I was reading something that somebody wrote last week. I had missed it. It was our friend Luke Husino who wrote a message. Let's see, what did he say here? Well, anyway, he made it to our show, so I think he's appreciating that. I'm not reading everything right this second, but he was also mentioning that he tried the Bob Ross technique for painting, and he's looking forward to showing it to me. So I think it'd be cool to check that out. Anywho, that's a moment of appreciation. If you have a moment of appreciation, you can feel free to send that in. You can go to theappreciationist.com, or you can just post a message on a Facebook page, on the meetup, meetup.com/TLOAMTL. That's meetup.com/TLOA is in the law of attraction, MTL is in Montreal. Or you can go to facebook.com/thelawofattraction.ca. You can post it there if you can't find this anywhere else, but you should. Theappreciationist.com is right there for your service. Look, this week's What a Great Idea, it's a segment called What a Great Idea. I point you towards a product, a service, a website, a person, an idea that is deserving of your attention, because whatever we give our attention to becomes a greater part of our experience. So why not give our attention to great ideas? I love ideas, I love tools, I love resources that allow the average person to do something that used to be very hard, but that now has become easier with technology. And especially if it's fun, especially if it allows people to connect with other individuals. This week's What a Great Idea is an app called Quick, Q-U-I-K. There's a lot that I could have told you this week, but I really like Quick because I actually used it. I had been meaning to use it. It's super easy way to create really fun videos, montages with your pictures and videos. So if you have your iPhone, you go out to a party or something, you snap some pictures, you take some video, you upload that to Quick, and it automatically makes an incredible video for you, and you can share it with your friends, and you can remember good times. You don't have to be a professional. You can just do it. This type of work would take me hours to do on with the After Effects or with Premiere Pro or whatever. But on the phone, I did it within a few minutes before starting the show. So send that to my friends. Hopefully we'll be able to post that online for you to see. But the app is called Quick, Q-U-I-K. You can download that in the App Store. Make some videos, check it out. Hey, if you use that the Quick app at one of our meetups or at our major events, please send us the video. It'd be lovely to get it. You might even get a little perk, a little surprise for sending that video in. So take some pictures, grab some video, make a quick video and send it over to us. Q-U-I-K, check that out. Okay, look, 7:15. I'm rushing, but it's just me, right? And I can talk as long as I want. I can end the show whenever I want. I can play some more guitar if I want to. You know, why not pick up the guitar? All right. The topic of our show this week is called Creative Reactions and Better Choices. And look, have you ever heard of the concept of a feedback loop? I think you have. A feedback loop takes in the input and it outputs something that builds upon what it took in. Now, a creative reaction is a type of feedback loop. The reason I call it a creative reaction is because I want it to be biased towards a constructive output. We're all faced with situations, we're all faced with challenges in our life, and the way we respond to them will determine what happens next, okay? Someone cuts you off in traffic, do you get upset and drive with road rage and then get into an accident, or do you brush it off, let it go, give them the benefit of the doubt? When I'm in a car and someone cuts me off, I always think to myself, oh, there's probably a pregnant woman in that car and they're rushing to get to the hospital, okay? It ain't true, but it's a creative way of thinking that allows me to get out of my funk and back into the joy of driving. And so creative reactions is something that we're going to be talking about at our event coming up later this month on July 23rd. It's called Exchange. And we're going to be talking about, well, in this case, when it comes to creative reactions, is your relationship with your environment, your relationship to what's happening to you. And creative reactions are a way for you to take what's going on and to build upon it, create something constructive, okay? Now, of course, everything ultimately is constructive, okay? You can punch somebody in the face for calling you an idiot, and that can be constructive. They might never do it again. And so that's why I don't really call it constructive. I call it creative. A creative reaction. A creative reaction forces you not only to do something that will build, that will be constructive, but that requires you to be creative at the same time. I use creative reactions when it comes to problem solving, when it comes to fixing things. If I don't have the tool immediately available to me or what I need available to me, I'm always thinking, well, what do I have? What can I use? What can I use in order to tackle this problem? And then I try and figure it out. And that involves me tinkering around and looking at things from different perspectives, but it really is a lot of fun. I'll give you a very simple example of a creative reaction. Hopefully it's good enough for you guys. But I play this game called League of Legends. League of Legends is a game that I play. I'm not going to go into detail about explaining that. You can check that out, League of Legends online. And so in the game, there's a chat. Okay, I don't do the voice thing. There's a chat, and people chat in the room while they're playing, and you can chat with your team, and you can chat with the other side. And there's something online called trolling. Okay, trolling is when you when somebody writes a comment or says something or does something online for the sole purpose of provoking a response. Okay, they don't really mean what they say, or what they're saying is inconsequential, but they're going to say it in order to provoke you to anger. Anybody who does YouTube videos online and gets an audience will get sort of hate comments, and a lot of those hate comments, or at least some of them, are trolls who are just trying to bother you because they get pleasure out of riling you up. I'm a troll. I'm definitely a troll. I used to hate trolls, and then I tried trolling myself, and it's super fun. It's mean, it's a little mean, but you know what? If you can find a place in your life where you can be a little bit mean, then everything else sort of feels a lot easier. You can get on with your life. So here I am trolling people, and being mean was a little fun, but then I decided, you know, how can I turn something around? How can I deal with a troll? How do I deal with somebody who's trolling me? And so what I started doing was, instead of nitpicking them, instead of asking them to explain themselves, instead of the normal things that you would do with somebody who's being mean to you or who is trolling you, I started asking these very simple questions. So somebody would troll me. They'd say something mean. What is wrong with you? Why can't you do better? Ah, you're so terrible. This game is horrible. I just want to leave. Whatever it is. And then I would say, hey, do you have a girlfriend? And they would answer, yes, no. Do you have a wife? And then they'd say yes or no, and I'd find something where they'd say yes to a partner or something, or somebody that they're interested in, or anything like that. Anybody have a crush on, whatever it is. And then it would distract them. All of a sudden, they're not thinking about this trolling thing. All of a sudden, we're not engaged in this mean thing. It's like I'm asking this query, and they answer me yes or whatever it is. And then I say, do you guys get along? Do you love that person? Do you plan on getting married? I started asking these personal questions, and for some reason, which I found surprising, I actually started doing this in order to troll people. People started answering honestly, and saying, you know, yes, it's going well, and I really love her, or no, it's not going well, and I'd wish them well, and then I'd say something kind at the end, like, I hope you and your girlfriend do well, or I hope you get married, or I hope you get what you want. And this person who was mean to me, who was trolling me, or this person that we had this negative interaction, all of a sudden they started being happy. All of a sudden they started liking the game. All of a sudden we started winning, especially if we're losing. And these same people that we got engaged in this trolling activity would add me as their friend afterwards. And I realized, oh my God, way more fun to make friends on these things, way more fun to ask people personal questions and encourage them than it is to just troll them. And not only that, I was able to transform a troll into someone good. It was incredibly amazing. It's actually something that I used to do when I used to work 9 to 5. I used to go to the office. I'd find the person who everybody didn't like, the person who was trouble, the person who looked like trouble. And I'd go over to them and I'd just talk to them like a normal human being. I'd just give them respect. I'd just give them kindness. I'd just ask them questions and care about their day and care about what was going on with them. And suddenly this person would transform. This person in the office who was the black sheep who nobody wanted to talk to, who everybody warned you against, suddenly became a wonderful person to hang out with, a wonderful person to talk to. And I realized a lot of people that you consider to be problematic, who consider to be trolls, consider to be meanies, that underneath them, underneath that grumpiness, underneath that gruff exterior, is actually a person yearning for connection, a person who is desiring a meaningful interaction, love, right? We're desiring love. And my creative reaction in the game reminded me of something that I knew to be true, and that we do have the power to transform our situations if we take control over ourselves, right? A troll trolls you, you feel upset, and that emotional reaction urges you to do the thing that is similar in vibration to what they're offering, right? They punch you, you want to punch them back. But if you can find a creative reaction to that situation, you can turn everything around. Now, does it always get turned around? No, of course not. But when it does get turned around, it reinforces that behavior. And even if it doesn't turn around, you can still feel proud of yourself for not debasing yourself to their vibrational level, but rising above the circumstance and seeing something from a new perspective, from a new point of a dimensionality, from recognizing that there's layers to human beings and that we can interact with certain layers and they won't go well, but we can find a layer that we can interact with. And a creative solution is one that puts the onus on you for believing that you can achieve something like that, that you can use your creative mind in order to come up with creative solutions to tricky problems. I talked a lot more than I expected to there, but there you have it. That was one of my experience with creative reactions. I've had other experience with creative reactions. I was on stage the other day doing stand-up comedy, and I just completely blanked on my joke. I couldn't remember, and I knew I should say something, but I decided not to. I just paused for a very long time. And after the awkward pause, I kept pausing. And then people started laughing. People started laughing at my pausing, and I realized, hey, you could forget a joke, and you can be standing there staring up at the sky, scratching your head, and that can be funny. There's all kinds of things that we can do in order to move forward. All it takes is a mind and a willingness to explore your environment and to experiment in such a way that you can use your feedback mechanism to your benefit, that you can be constructive. And that's really what positive thinking is, right? Positive thinking is not a feeling, it's not a thought that makes you feel good necessarily, but it is a thought that builds upon what you have in order to construct something that is of value, that is worthwhile, that you desire. I forget how much I love hearing the sound of my own voice. And so I'm going to do the next part of the show just blocking my ears. That way I am not enticed by the piperness of my voice. Anyway, look, I think we're going to end the show there. There's a lot more that I'd like to say, but we'll save it for the next show. I am wishing well to everybody who wanted to be on the show, can make it, who are watching the show, and especially to my co-hosts, Beidi Wang, Samantha Barley, and Valerie Soule. If you want to find out more about Samantha, go to samanthabarley.com. You can also check out our meetup group, Self-Discovery Montreal. Please check out Valerie Soule's website, thepowerofermotions.ca. She's a wonderful, phenomenal person. You definitely want to get in contact with her. If you want to improve your life and you're looking for a life coach, definitely check out Valerie Soule and Samantha Barley. You got two wonderful people to choose from. So that's thepowerofermotions.ca. You can find out everything about the Law of Attraction on the lawofattraction.ca. Find out about Appreciationist at the appreciationist.com. Go to our meetup page at meetup.com/TLOA-MTL. That's TLOAs in the Law of Attraction, MTLs in Montreal. Or you can just go to lawofattraction.ca and click on calendar. It'll take you to the same place. We have an event coming up on July 23rd called Exchange, the powerful truth about the creation process, where you're going to dive into the Law of Attraction and hit the next level conversation, which I think is very important. Elvira Alimzanova, one of our team leaders, she has a community discussion coming up this Saturday, the 9th. It's called Detox, Free Your Mind and Body. Free Your Mind and Body. So that's with Elvira Alimzanova. I think there's space left. It's at 12:30 p.m. So check that out. Yeah, a lot of people going. I think that I see one spot left. So definitely run over there and check it out. You know what? While I'm here, let me just do the kind thing and check out Self-Discovery Montreal's calendar. I'm sure they have something coming up. And when I say that I'm sure they have something coming up, I'm saying that I'm sure it's in the mind of Sam, and she just has to put it on her calendar. So keep an eye on that there. What else can I say? Our last segment is called What's for Dinner? What did you eat in the last 7 days that you enjoyed? Or what are you about to eat this evening if you haven't eaten yet? I said it before, I'm going to say it again because I'm a creature of habit. I'm having apple pie. I bought a whole new apple pie. I ate a quarter of it. I gave away a quarter of it, and now I have half left, and I can't wait to eat it. It's so tasty. It's so delicious. Reminds me of home. Go do something fun. Do something that you enjoy. Remember to appreciate life. Remember creative reactions, right? Find those better choices. They're always there. They're always present. All it takes is a mind to access them. Tune in next week for another exciting episode of The Appreciationist. Take care.